Hey guys, so I just wanted to get on here and share with you probably my most favorite product that I've ever created. So a lot of English language arts teachers do literature circles, and I think they're super important, but if you've read my blog post, you know that I did them a couple of years ago for the first time with my 8th graders, and they just didn't go over very well. And I knew that I needed to do something. I needed to change my approach to literature circles if I intended on them being successful in my classroom. So I thought to myself, how do I connect kids in the best way? What's going to get them to be motivated and engaged and feel like they can connect to what they're doing? And I thought to myself, well, what's better than social media, right? So what I did is I took traditional literature circle roles and I turned them, I basically used social media to change the roles a little bit. And I'm gonna share that with you. So when I do literature circles, every kid gets a booklet like this. And it's their journal. And so it comes with this cover, it comes bound for them, and they're not allowed to lose this. So they have their journal. So it starts off with their cover. And then we did Revolutionary War literature circles because it was an interdisciplinary unit with social studies, and they were getting ready to learn about the Revolutionary War. So I wanted to help prepare them for that. So it comes with this. So basically what they have is they have their name, novel, author, all of their group members, and then the essential question is also listed on the inside cover page. The next thing that the kids get from me, and they get this in every single unit, is they get a tentative timeline. All the important stuff is written on here, including my birthday. That's obviously very important. So they have all of their literature circle dates, any in-class reading and work days, any quizzes, everything that they would need is listed right on the tentative timeline. And the kids know that this is subject to change at any point. And then what they get is they get the Lit Circle procedures guidelines. It's listed there, easy for the kids to read, and they need to make sure that they go through these procedures for every single meeting that they have. They also get the brief version of what each role is and what's expected of them for those roles. So that's listed here for the kids. Then they get the reading schedule. So I pulled the reading schedule. We read the book Fever. So they have the reading schedule. So it includes the meeting dates. So for this one, this particular unit, we did 5 meeting dates. And then they have each assignment listed here. And then I have a blank spot here for the kids to write in what it is that they're expected to have prepared for that role. And they do this the very, very first meeting that they get together. And they discuss, okay, I'm gonna be the discussion boss first one, I'm gonna be the Snapchat summarizer for the third one, so on and so forth. So the kids figure that out on themselves. I don't assign that to them. It gives them some responsibility, and what's great is if they're sick or something, they know what's expected of them and what's due on their meeting date. No questions asked. Then what they get is a book description of their particular book. Usually it's whatever's on the back cover or whatever's written on Amazon. Super simple, cut and paste, ready to go. So for the first role that the kids have, it's discussion #boss. So basically it's the discussion leader. And what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to write down the group members that were there for the day. Did they complete their assignment, yes or no? And did they contribute to the discussion, yes or no? They're also expected to prepare 3 additional discussion questions to have ready if they have extra time at the end of the meeting. And then they're supposed to go through this checklist during the meeting itself. And each person is responsible to take this role at least once during every single unit. Then we have Snapchat story summary. So this is like a story summarizer. All they do is they basically summarize what they read in 4 Snapchats. So they make an illustration in chronological order, of course, and then they have a cute little picture caption. They can make up their own username if they want. And then on the back, what they're supposed to do here is they're supposed to summarize what the picture is about, as well as provide at least one piece of textual evidence for each photo. And that's a really big theme throughout this unit, is that I emphasize textual evidence. Textual evidence and the use of it to support your answer is huge, of course, but especially in 8th grade and in high school, it's mandatory. There are no exceptions. So kids are expected to use textual evidence throughout this entire unit. And then we have the impactful Snapchat. So for the section that they read, they have to take 2 quote-unquote Snapchats of 2 different key scenes or moments in the reading. So they draw that here, give a little picture caption, and then here they need to write, why is that important? Why do I care as a reader? Why is that important to me? And they, of course, need to provide textual evidence to support their reasoning. So that's a double-sided page. Then we have a character selfie. So they can pick any character in the book, and they need to create a character selfie, and they need to include a caption, a username, hashtags, and then on the back, so they can draw that here. They can do their username, they can have 1 million likes, whatever they want. And then on the back here, they need to provide 3 hashtags for their caption, and then they need to explain the selfie in full, as well as use textual evidence to support that. Here, this is kind of like a freebie one. It's an Instagram feed for any character. And so basically, they're giving the character a bio. So they put the bio here. And then they need to do the 9 most recent photos of their life that they took, using the text to guide them. Other than that, there's no additional writing. So kids usually fight over this one because it's a pretty simple one. And there isn't a ton of textual evidence that needs to be used here. The next one that I have in the bundle is hashtag connections. So basically what they do, for the section that they read, they need to create 3 hashtags that connect to both the reading as well as the real world. And they need to explain the connection using evidence from the text to support their answer. And they need to be creative. So say they wanted to, for fever, they want to talk about the connection to sickness and illness today. Perhaps they wanted to talk about the Ebola outbreak, current, obviously it's not happening now, but like, a couple years ago, and the fever outbreak, and talk about how that connects to our real world and how it connects back to the book. And they need to do 3 separate connections. The next thing they need to do, this one is probably one of my most favorite ones, is a literary playlist. And basically, I always make sure that every single kid does this one because I love it so much. So they need to create a playlist to go with the section that they read. And it needs to be at least 5 songs. And for each, obviously they need to be school appropriate. And I always tell them, if you have to ask me if it's school appropriate, you can't use it. So for each song, they need to explain why they chose the song, as well as using evidence from the text to support their song choice. There's room for 6, but 5 is mandatory. Now, the next role that's possible is they need to imagine, it's a group chat. So they're imagining that they're characters, and they need to have a conversation between 2 or more of the characters, and they need to talk about the current conflict. The kids need to think about, like, what would they say? What did they say? And then they also need to foreshadow what they think is going to happen next. And this one is a front and back one. So the kids have plenty of room to write in their speech bubbles. Another one that I created here is a BuzzFeed Top 5. BuzzFeed is a really great news source for kids, and they see it a lot in their Snapchat stories. So I thought it would be really great to incorporate it here. So basically what they need to do is they're going to write a BuzzFeed style article focusing on the top 5 events from the section that they read. So it's almost like another summarizing one, just in a different format. So they need to give each event a catchy title, and then followed by 1 to 3 complete sentences explaining why it's a top event. And they also need to make sure they use evidence from the text to support their answer. So again, BuzzFeed top 5. Here we have I don't know, Google it. For example, for this unit, we did Revolutionary War, so perhaps they had a question about a specific battle, or they needed to know about the major players in the Revolutionary War, whatever it is. So they would write their question in right here, just like a Google search bar. And the kids are, of course, are all familiar with this. And then what they do is they write what I found out about my topic. They need to cite their source. We had already done MLA citations, so the kids were expected to use an appropriate citation. And then they also need to explain how and why it helps the reader understand the text better. Now, this is a double-sided worksheet, but I didn't require the kids to make it two-sided. They could literally just have one question, but if they were particularly interested in a subject, then they could continue on. Here we have the vocab Instagram feed. So for each section of reading, the kids, for me, were required to have 2 new vocab words, and they were to write down the word as well as the part of speech and the definition, and they were supposed to keep track of that during the reading. Now, here, this is additional, but it does come in a bundle. So we've been working really hard on plot structure of any fictional story. So they have an exposition, of course, and then rising action, climax worksheet, and then they have a falling action and a resolution worksheet. And they can use these worksheets. Obviously, they can't fill them out right away, but as the novel progresses, the kids can work together in their groups at the end of meetings to start filling these out and finishing these up. And then the very last thing that I put in the kids' booklets is I have additional note sheets. And basically I make these available to the kids so they have everything locked in one spot, so they don't have to worry about it too much. They can take notes during meetings, they can take notes while they're reading, if they have additional questions they want to write down, whatever it is, it's all locked in one spot. So that is essentially the Social Media Literature Circle journal that I give my kids. Again, I really love it, and it is really engaging for my students. The amazing work that my students put out, it was incredible. The artwork, the writing, the textual evidence, it was really, really great to see. So I really love this. I think it's great. And I would suggest it for your language arts classroom. Definitely an upper grade. I would not suggest this for anybody lower than 7th grade. But I do think that this is an excellent addition if you want to change current literature circles. It's not traditional, but it definitely has a traditional backbone, which I think is great. So I'll link it down below for you. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to email me or shoot me a message on Instagram. And I'd love to chat with you. If you have an additional social media platform that you would like me to add to this bundle, I would love to talk to you and figure some stuff out. All right, well, enjoy and happy reading, guys. Bye.